There is nothing better than beating your biggest rival 27-7 in your home opener. Nothing better. But when you lose a quarterback, your number 3 overall pick from less than 2 years ago, who you gave up so much to get, who's your future, when you lose him for the whole remainder of the year in his 4th career start in week 2 of the season, it just sucks. And it especially sucks because it did not have to be that way. It did not. Now, hey, Jimmy looked great. The defense looked great. Talua Hufanga played his ass off again. Tashawn Gibson and Javarius Ward had a pick. The defense absolutely looked great. And of course, Jimmy looked fantastic as well. But that's not what I'm going to get into just yet. I will get into that in a little bit, especially Jimmy. But the topic at hand right now is the fact that Kyle Shanahan just misused Trey Lance. He just did. Now, Trey Lance and the Niners got a good productive drive. They got a field goal, made it 3-0. And the next time they saw the ball, they got into Seahawks territory. Debo had a big run. And then the next play, it's 2nd down, and Trey Lance runs it up the middle. He gets hit. The hit initially does not look that bad, but then it looks, after looking at Trey and his ankle, it appears he's injured, and that's when everyone's like, oh no, this is not happening right now. And then sure enough, he gets carted off the field, and then we're all expecting the worst. We're all expecting he's likely out for the year. I'm hoping he's just out 4 to 6 weeks. But of course, before the game even ends, Adam Schefter reports that it is most likely, because at that point they still couldn't confirm it, but it is most likely to end his season, to require season-ending surgery. And today that was confirmed that Trey Lance will be out for the remainder of the 2022-2023 season. So big bummer. Now, Trey Lance is a mobile quarterback. Yes, that's why they gave up so much to get him, so they could have a Lamar Jackson type, a Josh Allen type. And Kyle Shanahan in his post-game press conference, when being grilled about, like, why did you call such a ridiculous play that early in the game, he's like, well, have you watched Buffalo? Do you watch the other teams that do that? Well, the thing is, Josh Allen, he's just an incredible quarterback in general. Like that, the Bills absolutely destroyed the Tennessee Titans, and Josh Allen looked like he just made it look easy. But his main style is, of course, throwing the ball, but he's a running quarterback too. But very rarely does he just run it up the middle like that, except unless it's at the goal line, which is the only place where I think Trey should have been running that play, is at the goal line. And I learned, I don't know if this is necessarily the actual name of the play, if this is what they're just calling it, but I learned that I believe it's called QB power is the name of that play, when you just run the quarterback just up the middle like that. Everyone on Twitter, people were predicting that Trey was going to get injured on just plays before that. Heck, even last week against the Bears, like, people were just predicting that it was going to happen, then it just did. Like, Trey Lance is still developing. He's still young. I think he should have, his reps should have been mainly throwing, because his arm looked pretty damn good. But now he's gonna have he's missed out on a whole another year of developing. He's gonna have to sit out for this whole season, and he's gonna have to start from square one all over again. It just sucks. I mean, you feel so bad for Trey, of course, like, mainly, and because, he's worked his ass off to get to where he is, and now he's gonna have to sit out a whole season. It just sucks. But like, I think that Trey, the running plays to Trey should have been outside runs. He should have gone into the pocket, and then if he was being chased and not able to throw, then that's when he should have taken off, not just up the middle like that with defensive ends and linebackers just ready to kill you. That play was just so misused by Kyle Shanahan. It just wasn't. I'm not one to say that he should be on the hot seat or any of that. No, because no, that's all ridiculous. That shit is all ridiculous. But Kyle Shanahan needs to make smarter decisions. And he just needs to realize that, or he should have realized that calling a play like that just so often, especially when it's just not necessary. Like Debo, even though he's a receiver, he can run already better than Trey. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Like Trey, at least in the first half, should have mainly just had passing plays, and his running plays should have been outside runs. If you're at the goal line, then call that play, sure, because it has more of a chance of working too. Hey, Kyle did it with Jimmy later at the goal line, even though it worked and Jimmy did score a touchdown, I still thought it was dumb to call that play when you already lost your first quarterback doing it. But hey, Jimmy looked absolutely great. He went in as soon as the next play, and his arm looked good. He was completing his passes. He still had a few overthrows, but he didn't throw any picks. He looked pretty damn good, and I expect Jimmy is fully healthy now. He's over the shoulder injury, the thumb injury. So that's, I think, of course, definitely the main reason why he looks so refreshed is he's had so much rest. He barely even did anything in training camp. So he's definitely all rested and ready to go. And I'm expecting that Jimmy's going to have a much better regular season than he did last year, because Jimmy, a lot of the season last year, wasn't fully healthy. And now with a fully healthy Jimmy, hey, I expect Jimmy to play better than he did in 2019. But the thing is, he needs to. We need to see the best of Jimmy Garoppolo, or else the Niners will not make it that far this year. But if we see the best of Jimmy Garoppolo like we saw yesterday, which he still needs to play even better than that, then yes, the Niners can still be that Super Bowl contending team that they are. And thank God they kept Jimmy, because if they did not, then we would have Brock Purdy starting right now, and we could, with all due respect to him, we could pretty much just call the season done and over. And Jimmy, of course, had the touchdown pass to Ross Dwelly, and then we had the rushing touchdown by Kyle Juszczyk, and then later at the end, of course, we had that field goal blocked, and then returned for a touchdown by the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. But that was the only time the Seahawks saw the end zone. And yeah, Jimmy had a few QB sneaks in that scoring drive, which just was not the smartest decision by Kyle. If you're gonna do it, at least do it closer to, at least do it in the red zone and do it when you're close to the end zone. But don't do it with Trey Lance, a quarterback who you're trying to keep healthy as much as you can, and when it's just not necessary, when you're not at the goal line or anything, when you can call so many better plays. That just was not the time to do it at all. But hey, Jimmy's the QB again, and it's so good that he was a good sport and decided to stay instead of requesting a trade or requesting his release, because again, the Niners would be fucked right now without Trey Lance. But hey, the defense played great. I'm looking forward to next week, because I'm actually flying to Denver to go to that game. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that. That's going to be incredible. But the Niners, they still got the win. Despite the horrible news about Trey Lance, the Niners still got the win 27-7. They still beat the hated Seattle Seahawks. The ungrateful fucks in Seattle that booed Russell Wilson, the only quarterback that made their franchise relevant in the last 10 years. Yes, I'm so glad we beat the shit out of them again. But anyway, that's all I got. Sucks about Trey. Hoping that he can be fully healthy. Of course, he'll be fully healthy by next season. But hey, what I'm hoping though is that I'm hoping that Jimmy Garoppolo plays so well, and I hope that somehow we're able to actually win a Super Bowl with him. That we're gonna have a big question about what happens to Trey before the 2023-2024 season. That's your best case scenario. That's what you're all hoping for as a Niner fan. Anyway, that's all I got. Danny G is out. Peace!